In the second position, we have Joni Geldenhuys ready to tackle the race ahead. JP Brand is third.
The South African driver will be focused on a good result from here.
James Leach is going to be starting from fourth. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Francois Erasmus starting in fifth position.
It's not always easy to get the SSMAC Cobra this high up the starting grid.
Martin Meyer is lining up sixth.
It's the alternates tyre compounds for Martin Meyer.
The seventh starting position belongs to Abdurov, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
Abdurov will have wanted a better start than seventh.
On the eighth grid slot, we have Peter Geldenhuys. The green light signals the beginning of an epic race. As the drivers jostle for position, it's all about keeping their cool under pressure.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. Having started in 3, JP Brand will be looking to establish themselves in this race.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Let's hope they can keep it clean.
Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then. The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
The first lap can always be a bit of a melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
This is wheel-to-wheel racing at its finest. The drivers are practically glued together as they fight with every inch of track. It's a battle you don't want to miss.
No doubt about it, Alan. The battle for that same piece of tarmac is intense. The sparks flying in the close quarters racing showcase the incredible skill and nerve of these drivers.
Every move counts now as Willie Van Witt works to reel in Donovan Wu and overtake for P9.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Francois Erasmus is closing in on James Leach.
The mental game is just as important here. Francois Erasmus must keep their cool while putting pressure on James Leach.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Donovan Wu is chasing Martin Meyer in P6.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Donovan Lau will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
Tyler is running 11th. They are trying to catch Kenneth Ella. The adrenaline is pumping as Donovan Wu gets within striking distance of Martin Meyer in their race for 6th. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
The race is really heating up. Donovan Wu is hunting down Martin Meyer with everything they've got.
Donovan Lau needs to focus if they want to make a move past Martin Meyer.
Breaking news, folks. Oh dear, Philip Van Staden has had an incident. Things are heating up as Alan Denyer tries to close the gap to Philip Van Staden. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Jandre Bukes is really walking that fine line.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Peter Geldenhuys in 15th chases after Alan Denyer. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Peter Geldenhuys needs to find a way to close the gap.
It's going to be tough for Peter Geldenhuys, as Alan Denyer seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Peter Geldenhuys pull off some impressive...
Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Ivan Lerm. This could be costly. The delta between Donovan Wu in 6th and Martin Meyer remains over a second, but Donovan Wu is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 24 minutes left in this session to make that happen. It's a battle of wills out there, with Willy Van Wyck trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Donovan Wu. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. The tension is building as JP Brand trails behind Jamie Nichols. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Jamie Nichols is pushing to maintain the lead, while JP Brand is working to close in and challenge for the position.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Jamie Nichols is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with JP Brand in P2 doing everything they can to catch up.
This is a thrilling battle as Jandre Bukes edges closer to Kenneth Ella in their fight for P10. The pursuit is on. Roman Geldenhuys is closing the gap on Jandre Bukes, determined to claim. Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Ivan Lerm. This could be costly. Peter Geldenhuys is on a mission, chasing Philip Van Staden, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
A great moment for Peter Geldenhuys, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. You know, Max, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Alan. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Willy Van Wyck trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Donovan Wu. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
This is where experience comes into play. Donovan Lau has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Willy Van Wyck is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
The pressure is on for Philip Van Staden as they try braking development. Oh dear, Kenneth Ella has had an incident. Look at that, Willy Van Wyck is hot on the tail of Donovan Wu. brilliant maneuver from Willie Van Wyck, who has just moved up the field. It looks like James Leach is pushing hard to catch up to Willie Van Wyck. That's not a small gap, but James Leach has what it takes to challenge for the position.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with James Leach in 7th determined to catch up. But we know Willie Van Wyck isn't just going to hand it to him on the plate. James Leach is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The gap between Willie Van Wyck and James Leach is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Willie Van Wyck to bring James Leach into play.
That's right, and James Leach knows that they have to keep pushing hard and driving their own race. They can't let Willie Van Wyck off the hook.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. James Leach will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
That's right, James Leach in 7th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Willie Van Wyck is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Willie Van Wyck is defending for their life, but James Leach is right there doing everything they can to force a mistake.
It's not
Braking development. Oh dear, Kenneth Ella has had an incident. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Alan Denyer, who is currently in P13. But Kenneth Ella is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Alan Denyer. The delta between Peter Geldenhuys and 10th and Tyler remains over a second, but Peter Geldenhuys is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 18 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
Absolutely, Peter Geldenhuys in 10th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an awful damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Every move counts now as JP Brand works to reel in Jamie Nichols and overtake for P1.
We'll have to wait to see if JP Brand can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder their progress.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Willie Van Wyck trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Donovan Liu. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. No room for error here. Peter Geldenhuys is breathing down the neck of Tyler, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
It's going to be a close one. Peter Geldenhuys will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
The race is heating up as Willie Van Wyck in 6th closes in on Donovan Liu. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a braking development. Oh dear, Kenneth Ella has had an incident. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Willie Van Wyck trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Donovan Liu. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. It seems like Willie Van Wyck has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Donovan Liu's lap time there. It looks like JP Brand is pushing hard to catch up to Jamie Nichols. That's not a small gap, but JP Brand has what it takes to challenge for the position.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as JP Brand tries to reel in Jamie Nichols. But Jamie Nichols is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. JP Brand needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Jamie Nichols and move up the field.
Willie Van Wyck is giving it their all as they chase down Donovan Wu in P5.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curves and pushing the car to its limits.
Oh, this is getting intense. JP Brand is just a few car lengths behind Jamie Nichols. This is where the race gets really interesting. Willie Van Wyck is closing in on Donovan Wu.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Willie Van Wyck close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Looks like JP Brand is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Willie Van Wyck in 6th chases after Donovan Wu. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Willie Van Wyck needs to find a way to close the gap.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Donovan Lau is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Willie Van Wyck in P6 doing everything they can to catch up.
The race is really heating up. JP Brand is hunting down Jamie Nichols with everything they got.
This is where every inch counts. JP Brand is pushing hard to close the gap on Jamie Nichols. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Martin Meyer will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Martin Meyer in 4th determined to catch up. But we know Francois Erasmus isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Martin Meyer is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
JP Brand is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
Well, it doesn't look like Martin Meyer is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Francois Erasmus.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Martin Meyer is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
That's right, JP Brand is determined to pass Jamie Nichols and secure a higher position.
JP Brand has just put in a faster lap than Jamie Nichols, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
As long as JP Brand can maintain that consistency and pace, it will be interesting to see.
Let's talk about tire degradation. Max, how does it affect the car's handling and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling, Alan. As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
Brand is just behind Jamie Nichols.
If JP Brand gets any closer to Jamie Nichols, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
It seems like JP Brand is struggling. Their last lap time was a bit off the pace of Jamie Nichols.
Hopefully JP Brand can find some of that time they're losing and get it back.
This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
The battle for one is heating up as JP Brand tries to catch Jamie Nichols in P1.
The racing is getting tight between JP Brand and Jamie Nichols as they battle for P1. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
The delta between Abderraf in 7th and Donovan Wu remains over a second, but Abderraf is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 9 minutes left in this session to make that happen. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. JP Brand is chasing Jamie Nichols in P1. It's looking good for JP Brand, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Jamie Nichols.
Yes, but JP Brand can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Abderraf trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Donovan Wu. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish.
That's right, Abderraf in 7th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Donovan Lau is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Things don't seem to be going Francois Rasmus's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. The gap between Francois Erasmus and Jamie Nichols is getting smaller.
Exactly what Francois Erasmus needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Jamie Nichols.
The gap between Willy Van Wyck and Donovan Wu is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake for Willy Van Wyck to even allow Donovan Wu to get a look in. Max, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Alan. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Abderraf as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
The race is heating up as Francois Rasmus in third closes in on Jamie Nichols. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
This is where experience comes into play. Jamie Nichols has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Francois Erasmus is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
James Leach has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Tyler. I expect their only hope at this point is that Tyler makes an error. It looks like we might get a battle between James Leach and Tyler.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
As a former racing driver, Max, how challenging is it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Alan. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
Well, it doesn't look like Peter Geldenhuys is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone after all.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops, though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
Peter Geldenhuys is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Abderov to 1.2 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Max, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Peter Geldenhuys trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Abderov. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's going to be tough for Peter Geldenhuys, as Abderov seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Peter Geldenhuys pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for James Leach, who is currently in P10. But Tyler is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from James Leach.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as James Leach tries to reel in Tyler. But Tyler is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. James Leach needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Tyler and move up the field.
The pursuit is on. Peter Geldenhuys is closing the gap on Abderov, determined to claim P7.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Peter Geldenhuys is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Abderov.
It looks like James Leach is pushing hard to catch up to Tyler. That's not a small gap, but James Leach has what it takes to challenge for the position. We got a close battle as Peter Geldenhuys closes in on Abderov. And Peter Geldenhuys has just won the place from Abderov. Abderov has the pedal to the metal chasing Peter Geldenhuys.
It looks like they have the speed to make a move. I just hope they have the patience to do it cleanly.
A solid performance from JP Brand, who is holding down first. The gap between JP Brand and Jamie Nichols is getting smaller. It's now down to 9.9 seconds. You know, Max, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Alan. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone is so important.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Abderov in eighth chases after Peter Geldenhuys. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Abderov needs to find a way to close the gap. It looks like Abderov is making a move. The gap to Peter Geldenhuys is now down to 1.4 seconds. This is where the true champions shine, and JP Brand is certainly showing their class and the leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for JP Brand.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but JP Brand remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
Jamie Nichols takes second place with a fantastic race. What a race from Francois Erasmus. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Followed by Martin Meyer, Willy van Wyk, Peter Geldenhuys, and Abderov in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Coming in 8th, 9th, 11th, and 12th we have Duncan Wu, Tyler, Kenneth Ella, and Alan Denyer. Taking 13th is Ivan Lerm. Finishing 10th is Philip van Staden.